May our time together be of benefit to all people, all beings, and all life forms. Let us start with a mindful pause. Gently take some slow, deep, effortless belly breaths. If thoughts arise, let them arise, but pay them no attention. Let all thoughts and worries about today, the past week, and the days ahead fall away into the background of your awareness. Lovingly be here now, peacefully, calmly, with a kind interest in the sensations of breathing. Kindly reflect on what your loving intentions are for attending this course. Gently reflect on how this course has already served and benefited you. How it has already served and benefited your friends and family. And all beings and all life. When distractions or confusion arise, or energy slumps, remember these loving intentions and benefits gained to help you maintain your energy, focus, and interest so you get the most out of our time together. We are on lands that have been cared for by Indigenous people for generations. We offer our goodwill and thanks to all Indigenous people, past and present, and we stand in solidarity with you to protect and honor your inherent dignity, culture, treaties, and lands. Welcome everyone, and thank you for coming to class 10 of Mindfulness Fundamentals. Woohoo! In this class, we start with a brief check-in to see how your practice is going. Then we're going to do a meditation where we anchor our awareness on formlessness, that which we cannot know directly using our senses. So it might be challenging, but you'll get the hang of it. After meditation, we're going to have a talk called "Who Are You Without Your Story of Self?" In this talk, we take on the most pernicious and challenging falsehood of all, which is the falsehood of self-view. Self-view is the root falsehood that all other falsehoods stem from. So this is an important talk, and because of the previous 9 classes and all of your good efforts, you are completely ready for it. So So let's start by checking in. If people could cut and paste into the chat your reports, I will put in the chat what it is I'm looking for. For course participants, we're looking for the number of days meditated, number of days you set intentions, and the number of times you investigated or did Baladi this week. And then the final number would be the number of times you gave thanks on average per day. And then a sentence or two sharing your overall experiences with Pilates, and a sentence or two on how the rest of your practice is going. For veteran meditators, you can simply put in the chat 1 to 3 gratitudes. All right, Susan, we got 7353. Enjoyed vegan cupcakes recommended by Julie. Excellent. Excellent. Any word on your practice beyond the cupcakes would be appreciated. Gonna come off. It's been challenging. Okay. Well, I like that you did 5 investigations. That's really good. And, whether an investigation um, benefits you with anything or not, or whether, it's all about getting comfortable with the form, getting comfortable with the questions, remembering the questions, knowing which questions to ask, which questions work for you best. So, so that's good. And you're meditating every day. That's great. Um, the gratitude number, I'm a little concerned about. Definitely want to bump that up. And the intention setting as well, because that will help you with all of the investigations. But otherwise, really good, Susan. All right, Scott's report is in 7, 7, 1, and 8 to 12. Although I only did Pilates one time, it was really helpful. The week got away from me. The meditation was okay. I get in my head before each one because I know I need to think of beings each time. Fair enough. I was thinking, like, one thing I wanted to suggest too is if you see people on television, you can use them. Like, don't use their character, obviously. Use the actual actor who you may know nothing about. They'd be a good neutral person at times that you can use. And the categories beforehand, so you can generate a list beforehand or whatever. But usually most people are fine just kind of like seeing who's there behind the door when they ask their mind. And what I find is that the people who are difficult sometimes show up in that category. Sometimes they show up as my benefactor. Like, you can use the same people over and over again, or the same beings over and over again. So don't get too caught up on all that aspect of it. But otherwise, I love all of your numbers except for the Bilotti situation, but I'm glad you had a good experience with it, and I hope that makes you more committed to trying it again more this week. All right, moving on to Gail. 7518. It's amazing how investigating shows me how untrue and unreliable thoughts can be. The practice definitely gives me the tools to relieve my misery and suffering, be it real or unreal. Wow. Wonderful. I love that. We should make that a quote and put it out there for why people should take the course. So keep at it. I see you only got one in this week. This was holiday week extravaganza, so it's understandable. Just keep loving yourself, be compassionate, and do your best this week. All right, moving on to Julie. 22610. It was a rough week personally. Even though my practice took a nosedive, I felt like I experienced benefits of my practice from previous weeks that helped me through the hard time. And Bilotti was especially useful in helping me get some distance from my thoughts and emotions. Wonderful, wonderful. And yeah, I heard through a mutual friend the difficulty that you're going through, and my condolences to you for the loss of your sweetie pie. Pancake? Was that?
Very close, a breakfast food, waffle cone.
Oh, waffle cone. Yeah.
Same category.
Yeah. So, yeah, my condolences for waffle cake. And
Waffle cone. Yeah.
waffle cone,
And
sorry.
thank you. Thank you for your condolences.
Yeah, yeah. So that's understandable. And that's what we like is that these practices help you through the hard times. And even though your numbers are low for the intention setting and the meditation, they're really good on the investigation, and they're really good on the gratitude. So very good, very good. Keep it up, and hopefully this week you'll get some more stability and can kind of get those numbers all where we want them to be. All right, wonderful. Any questions coming up for people regarding their practice or concerns? All right, then we're going to just keep moving on. Uh, Today's meditation is a formless meditation. In this, we're going to rest our awareness on space, silence, stillness, emptiness. We will also be investigating this formless nature to see what, if anything, we can learn about it. This meditation is based on several direct pointing meditations by living wisdom teacher Muji. Originally from Jamaica, he primarily teaches in Portugal, the UK, and India. You can learn more about him and his teachings at mooji.org, mooji.org. Okay, let's prepare for the meditation. Please review your flashback halting protocol or your 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise and keep it handy. Remember, if ever feelings or memories start to arise that are too destabilizing for you to hold with compassionate mindfulness, then stop meditating, open your eyes, remind yourself that you are in a safe place, get up and do whatever you need to do to feel safe and in control. Otherwise, get into a comfortable position that will help you stay awake. And if it seems wise to do so, keep your eyes closed to direct your attention inward. If you are at risk of falling asleep, then you may open your eyes and gaze in an unfocused manner at something pleasing that doesn't stimulate thought. Meditation is an act of love for ourselves and all life. Kindly anchor your awareness on your heart space or on any pleasant feelings that arise. Gently invite the heart to be warm, open, and receptive. Now silently repeat these loving intentions and try to feel the meaning behind the words. May this practice be done for the benefit and welfare of all life everywhere. May all life everywhere be free from suffering. May all life everywhere be safe and protected. May all life everywhere be peaceful and happy. May all life everywhere be healthy and strong. Regard all of the instructions I offer as gentle invitations. Maintain your full sense of freedom and agency throughout this meditation. Kindly follow those instructions that feel safe, seem helpful, and align with your own inner wisdom. If an instruction is unhelpful or does not apply to you, then compassionately ignore it. When ready, kindly anchor your awareness on the sensations of breathing. Gently take several slow, cleansing breaths, breathing deep into the belly. If able, breathe in through the nose and relax all of the muscles in the face. Lovingly notice what it feels like to rest your attention quietly on the sensations of breathing. Allow your breaths to be slow, effortless, and soothing. On each in-breath, calmly feel all of the energy and life in the body. On each out-breath, lovingly invite the muscles in the body to soften and relax. Let your breath gently help you balance energetic alertness with relaxed calmness. When thoughts or feelings arise, that is fine. Just kindly remind yourself they are not needed now, and experiment with lovingly returning your attention to the breath. Kindly scan your awareness through the body and invite all parts of the body to relax and soften. Compassionately now, anchor your awareness on formlessness. We know formlessness as space, stillness, silence, emptiness. Another name for the formless is nothingness. Formlessness is the one thing that our senses cannot know directly. We only know the formless exists indirectly as the absence of forms, the absence of sounds, the stillness within the movement. Most people pay no attention to the formless, But today we will kindly anchor our awareness on it and lovingly investigate it. Gently invite the space of your mind to be empty. Kindly let the mind be empty of all memories, ideas, attachments, aversions, roles you play, stories about yourself, and so on. Patiently rest your awareness on the formlessness. Even if thoughts arise, pay them no attention and stay focused on the formless, empty space that surrounds the thoughts. Compassionately invite the brain to rest, be peaceful and quiet. Lovingly notice all of the space and emptiness in the mind. If everything is taken out, then what remains is what cannot be taken away. The body and its senses are still present, but lovingly let them be as they are. Tenderly stay focused on the formlessness. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I invite you to kindly do your best to feel or intuit the answers from your direct experience. If you have heard this meditation before, listen to it as if this is your first time ever hearing it. Gently remember to lovingly be with this emptiness, this spaciousness, this stillness, this formlessness. As you sit here with an empty mind, gently notice, are you still here? Even without thought, are you still here? To be empty means to not identify with any thought or idea at all. When you are empty, nothing can stick to you. You are just a sense of space, and yet still you know that you exist. If you don't experience emptiness, that's okay. Just continue to be with whatever is present with as much patience, kindness, and compassion as you are able. And if ever you need a break, you are welcome to rest your awareness on your breath or on another object of your choosing for as long as you need, and rejoin us at any time. For those of you who do feel as if your awareness is anchored on the formless, what is it that you notice? Does the formless have any shape? Does it hold any beliefs? Does it have a gender? Does it have any color? Is there any design to it? Did you create this? Are you imagining this? Are you sustaining it? Did it appear, or has it always been here? Does it have an edge or boundary beyond which it does not exist? Can it become ill? Can it get frustrated? Can it get upset? Can it become lonely? Does it belong to anybody? Can it end? Does it have an inside or an outside? What must you do to reach it? Is it separate from you? In the spacious emptiness, does awareness remain? Can you remove your awareness? Again, try and feel and experience the answers to these questions. Can you remove your awareness? You may find that even if you try to take awareness out, it remains. Patiently notice the truth of that in your direct experience. Is the emptiness aware? Again, don't use your mind. Feel and intuit the answer directly, and it is okay if no answer comes to you. Is the emptiness aware? Calmly rest your awareness on the formlessness. Is formlessness an object? Is it a mood? Is it a feeling? Is it information? Does it have a boundary where it no longer exists? Can it be angry? Can it ever be against you? Let your direct experience and intuition help you answer these questions. Does it have a beginning? Does it have an age? Was it created? Was it born? Can it die? You are aware of the formless now, but has it been with you all along? How much distance is there between you and the formless? Can it be lost? Can it fade? Can it be hidden? Can it be separated from you? Why is it that the unchanging, aware emptiness is always with us? Why does it take so little time to research these answers? Our culture tells us we are the body, the thoughts of the mind, and the roles played by the body-mind. But the body, mind, and the roles we play constantly change and come and go, and yet we are still here. How can we be any of these things that come and go? What if, instead of being the body, We are the spacious emptiness that allows the body, mind, thoughts, and feelings to exist. Forms come and go, but formless emptiness has always been. The more aware we become of our formless nature, the less we will be disturbed, confused, or upset by the constantly changing forms we interact with. Even the most powerful changes that take place cannot overwhelm the unchanging emptiness which underlies all forms. You don't have to try to be with the formless. It is already there. You only need to remember that and to respect that and be present with that when the ego is active. Happiness, peace, and love are the core of who we are. Ego confuses us about this, while stillness, emptiness, and formlessness remind us of this truth. Now that you are aware of this formless nature, can you lose it? Try to lose it if you can. Can your thinking get rid of it? Can your emotions cover it up? Can painful sensations hide it? When moods or feelings come, does the formless nature leave you or depart? Gradually, as you come to verify the indestructible, eternal nature of your formless true self, the arising falsehoods and their corresponding emotions will lose their power to confuse and deceive you. You will know directly, beyond conceptual knowing, that I am this. Is the formlessness an experience which is passing? Or is the formless that in which all experiences happen? As you investigate being your formless nature, you may at times find yourself thinking, I've got it, and at other times thinking, I've lost it. Both of these thoughts position you as the person and are the falsehood of self-view. You are the formless, and thus it cannot be lost. If it is lost, look to see where you position yourself. Are you imagining yourself to be the body? Or are you experiencing yourself as the formless awareness? The eye sees everything, but it cannot see itself directly. In the same way, the formless is aware of everything, but cannot see itself directly. What we see, we cannot be. Lovingly and firmly practice resting your awareness on the formless more and more. This will tremendously speed your efforts to live with more love, wisdom, and joy. Gently now, set an intention to live from your formless awareness. And bring whatever peace and mindfulness you have generated from this meditation into the rest of your day. As we prepare to share the merits of our practice, gently anchor your awareness on the heart space or on any pleasant feelings you feel. Doing this meditation with loving intentions has gained us many benefits. Out of generosity and love, we energetically share these benefits with all beings. If you feel any pleasant feelings, invite them to radiate out from your heart in all directions to benefit all life everywhere. You may visualize this love as white, golden, or colored light, or as a felt sense of energy. If you don't feel any pleasant feelings, then continue to feel your heart space and repeat these loving wishes silently to all life while trying to feel the meaning behind the words. We share any merits gained from this practice with all beings and all life everywhere. May all life everywhere be free from suffering and misery. May all life everywhere abide in a deep and lasting peace. May all life everywhere know the highest forms of happiness and be at ease. May all life everywhere know their deepest essence to be joy, peace, compassion, and unconditional, boundless love. May all life everywhere be fully and permanently liberated. Gently rouse the body by stretching in whatever way feels good. And then once you're roused, you can get up and stand and move around in whatever way feels good. Take a quick standing break. And once you're done with that, if you can type in a word or two for how that meditation went for you and turn your cameras back on so I know you're with us, that would be great. You have to stand up. All right, so let's see. We have really grateful. Oh, wait, that's all right. Inspiring, relaxing, quiet, challenging, but yet relaxing, soothing, and at times confusing with the abstraction. Okay. All right. That's good. It sounds like the challenging and oh, and we got relaxing as well. It sounds like a few challenging aspects came up, but people were still pretty relaxed and peaceful and were able to roll with it. And that's fine. This is probably your first time doing it. And it's just an exploration of something that you have probably paid very little attention to throughout your entire life. So, uh, don't expect to be a pro already. Just keep plugging away. Any questions or concerns that people have about that meditation? Susan says it reminds her of how she got to sleep when she was a child. Interesting.
Hmm.
All right. If there's no further questions, we will move on to our talk for the evening, which will hopefully go a little deeper than that meditation did in terms of like what's going on here. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, for those of you in the course, get out your logbook, and in your tracking log, that was, I think, a 31-minute meditation. So feel free to note that in your log for today. All right. If it be thy will, may these words inspire us to know truth, unleash our boundless love, and joyfully serve all life. May these words help all who hear them come home to their true selves. Who are you? We all think we know who we are, or do we? Our brains tell us that we are this person with this gender, this race, these roles, these relationships, and all these things. But then again, we've seen during this course that what we believe deceives. If we could no longer believe any of our thoughts about ourselves, who would we be then? Wouldn't it be interesting to find out? How might this change our perspective, reduce our suffering, and enhance our well-being? Keep listening, because today we tackle the hardest, most stubborn falsehood of all. It is the root falsehood of all other falsehoods, and we call it self-view, or the verb form of it is selfing. Because it is the most challenging falsehood, the first 9 weeks of this course helped you develop the mindfulness, concentration, and investigation skills and abilities on easier to see falsehoods. Now that we've developed these skills and we've helped you learn how to look directly with your senses for answers to your investigations, rather than seeking the answers from conceptual thinking, so all of this that we've been doing is prepping you for today. If this course was the movie The Karate Kid, so far you've been out painting fences and waxing cars. But today you're going to learn to do karate. So in this talk, we're going to define the falsehood of self-view. Then we're going to share with you some liberating insights that all forms are impersonal and not self, and that our essential nature is formless awareness. We will show you how what you see you cannot be. Then you will receive the investigative tools to help you see, experience, and know the reality of your true self directly. In this talk, I quote Peace Pilgrim, and her quotes mention God a lot. Because we aim to make these talks accessible to people of all wisdom traditions, be those traditions secular, spiritual, or religious, if the word God doesn't work for you, please, please, please substitute it with another word that does speak to you, such as life, love, truth, source, or the name of the higher power of your understanding. Besides Peace Pilgrim, another wisdom teacher I will mention during this talk is Muji. Originally from Jamaica, he primarily teaches in Portugal, the UK, and India, and is world-renowned for his teachings of self-inquiry, which is the practice we're going to be learning today. His teachings have dramatically shaped and informed this talk, and you can learn more about him and his teachings at his website, mooji.org, mooji.org. So who are you? When you say I, what are you referring to? Where do you position yourself to be? Today, out of love for you, we are going to look at what our options are, and then let you test the options to find out which one enhances your well-being and the well-being of others. And this is part of our ongoing process of addressing the body's and mind's conditioning. Numerous studies by psychologists show that our brains have what's known as a confirmation bias. This means the brain actively seeks, prefers, remembers, and interprets information to help validate the beliefs it already holds, while at the same time dismissing facts and evidence that would contradict these ideas or point to other ideas. We've already talked about how the brain has a conditioned negativity bias, and to counter this, we practice appreciation. We give thanks for everything. The brain also has a conditioned my thoughts are true bias. And to counter this, we practice mindfulness. We see thoughts as thoughts rather than the truth. And if they set off one of our 3 falsehood alarms, we investigate them to identify the active falsehoods, remembering the liberating insights, and offer the falsehoods a wise, loving response. So how do we respond to the brain's conditioned confirmation bias? Well, one way we do this is by questioning everything. Already in this course, we have questioned the notion of free will. On the surface, it seems like we make choices and decisions all of the time. But as we investigate below the surface, we see more clearly the biologically and environmentally conditioned nature of our thoughts, emotions, and behavior patterns. Thankfully, we have also experienced how mindfulness, unconditional love, investigation, joyful service, and liberating insights have the power to help us transcend our conditioning, and at least in those moments where we're successful, give us some true choice. So with this spirit of questioning everything, today we question our stories of who we are. And why do we question who we are? Because it helps us see the delusion of self-view. We define self-view as the mental story you have of who you are. It is the root delusion of all other delusions we have talked about in this course, including fixed views, futuring, pasting, craving, and aversion. If we uproot self-view, all the other delusions become uprooted as well. In short, the falsehood of self-view believes, I am this person. I am the thinker of my thoughts. I am the doer of my life. Do we believe this? Of course we do. Everyone who's not fully enlightened yet believes this most of the time. These ideas are all conditioned stories in the brain that we believe, stories that we have learned from our wider culture because everyone else believes them too. So it's not surprising that we believe this way. But have we looked underneath the surface of these stories to examine if they are actually true? And what will we discover once we do this? Before we go there, let's have an example of self-view. So in 2019, I came down with a debilitating and controversial disability. Or it may be that I had this condition for a long time, but in that year, the condition worsened to a place where I was far more sensitive to it. The condition is called electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome, or EHS. Basically, I am negatively impacted by wireless technologies such as cell phones, Fitbits, Wi-Fi, and other smart devices. I am also negatively affected by the electricity in walls used to run appliances and so on. The hangovers I get from exposure cause brain fog and exhaustion that leave me zombie-like in bed for hours or days on end. You can read the details of this condition on the web at boundlessloveproject.org backslash EHS info page. The condition is controversial for 3 reasons. First, it's new. Second, most US doctors don't know how to diagnose it. And third, because the trillion-dollar wireless tech industry has a vested interest in painting those of us who have EHS and the researchers exposing the harms of wireless technology to be crackpots and conspiracy theorists. Now, the only known treatment for EHS is avoidance of the electromagnetic fields. And you can also do that by living in a Faraday cage, which I do. Behind this screen, my walls are completely lined with industrial grade aluminum foil. But with cell phones and Wi-Fi everywhere, with cell phones and Wi-Fi everywhere that people are, this translates into basically a self-imposed imprisonment to live with this condition. And since my condition became so severe, I've had to quit work to avoid the exposure, which is everywhere. This condition has been extremely confusing. Like, I'm wondering what is happening to me. Is this condition real or a nocebo, like many people say it is on the web? Either way, how do I heal from it? What can help me if doctors don't even recognize this condition and many other people think it's all in my head? How do I assert my needs when everyone is addicted to their phones, gadgets, and Wi-Fi? How can I do anything when I have no energy or direction to even put energy if I had it? How do I not get angry when every person has the power to cripple me for hours or days just by using their cell phone near me? This was what was swirling through my mind, and I was depressed, exhausted, confused, and feeling just too overwhelmed to be my own advocate. I was basically out of commission. My responsibilities were neglected, and I was paralyzed with this overwhelm. Now, in this story I just told you, is there self-view? Absolutely. This whole story assumes that I am this person and I am this body. And we see the same pattern of other falsehoods. When you believe a falsehood, you suffer, and you behave unskillfully in ways that harm yourself and others. Now, do you think of yourself as your body? As the person that body is? Of course you do. Otherwise, I would be asking you to teach this class. Okay, but now you're wondering, if we are not the body, what are we? And Obviously, we introduced it in the meditation, the sense of formless awareness. But before we go there, I want us to remember what we learned in class 9, where we introduced the idea that every human being has two aspects, ego and essence. We defined ego as our conditioned collection of falsehoods in the brain. In contrast, our essence is our true self or conscience. And by conscience, I don't mean like, that part of you that determines what's good and bad, but the awareness, the consciousness. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say, consciousness. So for a more thorough introduction to ego and essence, I hand the mic over to Peace Pilgrim, metaphorically, obviously. I was not far down the spiritual road when I became acquainted with what the psychologists refer to as ego and conscience, which I call the lower self and the higher self, or the self-centered nature and the God-centered nature. It's as though we have two selves or natures, or two wills with two contradictory viewpoints. Your lower self sees things from the viewpoint of your physical well-being only. Your higher self considers your psychological or spiritual well-being. Your lower self sees you as the center of the universe. Your higher self sees you as a cell in the body of humanity. When you are governed by your lower self, you are selfish and materialistic. But insofar as you follow the promptings of your higher self, you will see things realistically and find harmony within yourself and others. The body, mind, and emotions are instruments which can be used by either the self-centered nature or the God-centered nature. The self-centered nature uses these instruments, yet it is never fully able to control them, so there is a constant struggle. They can only be fully controlled by the God-centered nature. All right, so each of us has two natures, ego and essence, the false self and the true self. Let's look at them from another perspective. During this course, you've heard me say, take the backward step into awareness. And I want to talk you through a visual to help you better understand what I'm driving at now. And to do that, I'm going to do a share screen. There it is. Can everybody see this? Okay. And is it large enough? Okay, good. So we start explaining this visual on the right-hand side. Taking a backward step is going to represent moving towards the left. The first column, external phenomena, represents phenomena external to the body. The reasons why external is put in quotes will probably become more obvious later. But examples here include a river, a car, people, and toys. These external phenomena are known by our senses. So if we take a step backwards from our external phenomena, we find our five senses of hearing, sight, smelling, taste, and touch. They help us know the external world, but what sees if our vision is clear or blurry? The witness of whether our vision is clear or blurry is behind the eyesight. And so we need to take a further step back to find that. And when we take a step back, we find the brain. And the brain is like a sixth sense. It is responsible for us knowing the thoughts, emotions, and sensations of the body. The brain takes the information from the senses and it interprets it and tells stories about it. Now, the brain, as we know, is conditioned, conceptual, and limited. It is within the brain that the delusions of self-view, fixed view, pasting, futuring, craving, and aversion are found. Therefore, we need to be vigilantly mindful of the brain and all of its stories. And that's why this category is in red, because there's danger here. Both of these categories of senses and brain, we can think of these as the body. But what sees the brain and the thoughts, emotions, and sensations? What can determine if a thought is loving and kind or false? Just as an eye cannot see itself directly, but it knows it exists because it sees everything else, in the same way, there is something that sees the inner workings of the mind. And if, like the eye, the mind cannot see itself, then there must be something further behind the mind that watches it. So we take another step back. And when we do that, we find the heart. Now, this does not refer to the actual organ of the heart, but rather to the love felt in the body. We feel love as either kindness, compassion, peace, or joy. The sensations of love are always with us, but they're constantly changing and oftentimes very, very subtle. We easily miss them because they can be obscured by the much louder emotions that are happening in the brain category. Now, these loving sensations are what, in the heart area, are what Muji calls the perfume of our true self. And in the Be Here Now practice, we focus our attention on these subtle sensations throughout our day to help keep us mindful. But these feelings can be seen. So obviously there's something even further behind these feelings. And what is that? If we take a further step back, we find concentration or focus. Concentration can be very narrow or broad, but it basically limits our awareness to whatever it focuses on. So I've represented it as a telescope that can be aimed at various sense experiences or things within the brain or the heart area. Our meditation practice has helped us have more control over our focus, and we have used this control to look inward and investigate the inner workings of brain and body. Yet some days we notice that our attention is sharp and cooperative, and at other times we find it is scattered and distracted. What is it that sees whether focus is sharp and cooperative or scattered and distracted? Again, we take another step backwards and we find awareness, also called consciousness, mindfulness, the knower, the witness, conscience, and so on. Muji calls awareness the lens of the absolute, so I depict it as another eye. Awareness, when we investigate it, we find it has no craving, no aversion, no thoughts of future or past or fixed view, no story about who or what you are. Therefore, awareness is free of all falsehoods and all concepts. So this is a great place to focus our attention on. Our slogan, "Be the knower, not the known," encourages us to see ourselves in this position. When we are mindfulness, we can relate to whatever difficulties are faced lovingly and skillfully. And yet, awareness too can be seen. What sees awareness? So we take another step back and find the formless. Now, wisdom teachers who have attained enlightenment tell us this is our true self and essential nature. For reference, just so you know how this relates to other wisdom traditions, many other traditions call this formlessness the soul, spirit, Atman, neshama, creator, God, nirvana, truth, the absolute, and many, many other names. Now, when we live as our formless essence, we drop the personal perspective of the ego and adopt the universal perspective that all life is one. The same formless essence that is our essential nature is the essential nature of all other forms as well. So we are one. We are literally nothing and everything at the same time. How's that for a paradox? Peace Pilgrim said, quote, I made a complete identification, not with my body, the clay garment which is destructible, but with the reality which activates the body and is indestructible. She goes on further to say of her awakening experience, quote, your consciousness must ascend to the point through which you view the universe with your God-centered or formless nature. The feeling accompanying this experience is that of complete oneness with the universal whole. One merges into a euphoria of absolute unity with all life, with humanity, with all the creatures of the earth, the trees, the plants, the air, the water, and even Earth itself. This God-centered nature is constantly awaiting to govern your life gloriously. You have the free will to either allow it to govern your life or not to allow it to affect you. This choice is always yours. Unquote. So as we see more clearly through our experience that our formless nature is dependable, reliable, and truthful, we eventually have an awakening experience like Peace Pilgrim had and know the truth of our oneness with life and adopt the universal perspective of the formless. So down here, I've just sort of explained the differences between the ego, which is conditioned, temporary, it has a me versus the world attitude, and it has a deeply, deeply personal perspective. I am this body, versus the formless, which is unconditioned, eternal, one with all life, and holds a universal perspective that all life is inherently valuable and all life is one. Now, other wisdom teachers tell us the formless is these things. It's eternal, unchanging, infinite, imperishable. It was never born and can never die. It's unknowable to the senses. But they also tell us that it is the source of all life, all love, all wisdom, all form. And that might be a little bit hard to swallow. I think most of us conceptually, we think of space as inert, dead, lifeless, background, super unimportant. And from this view, it is preposterous to think of the formless as the source of all life, love, and form. And yet, the wisdom tradition of science seems to confirm this understanding. Science's best theory on the origins of the universe is the Big Bang Theory, which states that roughly 13.8 billion years ago, the universe was empty and there was nothing. And then all of a sudden, this big explosion launched all matter into existence. And that matter has been expanding outwards into the infinite nothingness ever since. This theory, which has much evidence to support it, supports the idea that the formless birthed all form. Is it possible we've got our concepts about space and formlessness wrong? Interestingly, over 2,500 years ago, before science had the tools needed to investigate the makeup of form or matter, it was written in the Buddhist Heart Sutra that, quote, form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. When science investigated what matter consisted of, they were shocked to discover that the forms which look solid to our eyes are almost 100% empty space. We know they are made up of molecules, which are made up of atoms, which are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. And at each step of that way, all of these things are almost 100% empty space. And ironically, there is no solid inert matter in matter. It's all just energy vibrating and moving. So even the wisdom tradition of science seems to be pointing us in the same direction as what these wisdom teachers of other spiritual and religious traditions say. Now, being lost in the falsehoods of ego is like thinking we are a wave on the ocean during a storm. The experience is turbulent, dynamic, and provokes fear because we know death and destruction could come at any moment. And that is basically us living in this half of the diagram, as the brain, as the senses, as external phenomena. When we identify with these things, our life is dramatic and unreliable. Being grounded in our true self, however, is like recognizing that we are not the wave, we are the ocean. And rather than focusing our attention on all the commotion on the surface, we focus our attention on our depths, where it is stable, still, silent, vast, and tranquil. So these four categories on the left are subtle and reliable. This is where it's safe for us to rest our awareness. This is where it's safer. These three are safer for us to identify with. Ideally, we want to identify with the formless. But this process of naturally going backwards happens, like I said, naturally as we do the investigations. So for now, anywhere back here, we're just going to consider the safe zone. So when you live on this side, you're a wave in the ocean, experiencing a lot of drama. When you're on this side, you are the depths of the ocean and you experience a lot of peace and tranquility. So the other thing to note is that in this formless column, it is the one column that is unconditioned. All other columns are conditioned and impersonal. But the formless is still impersonal, but all of the other ones are as well. So just be aware of that. And here is Peace Pill. I'm going to go back to another quote. I'm going to stop the share here. And I'm going to go back to another quote by Peace Pilgrim talking about her experience with God. But to help you avoid bringing up your concepts of God, I've replaced the word God with the phrase the formless. And just listen to her words with fresh ears and in relationship to what we're talking about. Intellectually, I touched the formless many times as truth, and emotionally, I touched the formless as love. I touched the formless as goodness. I touched the formless as kindness. It came to me that the formless is a creative force, a motivating power, an overall intelligence, an ever-present, all-pervading spirit, which binds everything in the universe together and gives life to everything. That brought the formless close. I could not be where the formless is not. You are within the formless is within you. Now, the Buddha called the formless Nibbana and described it variously with these words: the unconditioned, the highest happiness, unsurpassable freedom, the sublime, peaceful, a shelter, a refuge, the perfection of wisdom, purity, unborn, unmade, unbecome, unafflicted, unmanifest, the destruction of craving, non-attachment, amazing, wonderful, the destination and the path leading to the destination. Well, wouldn't it be nice to experience that? Yet, while we keep believing the falsehoods in our mind, we cannot really experience this reality. Muji says, as you think, so you become. You are being the person you imagine yourself to be. And he challenges us with this question, who are you without thinking? So there are two liberating insights to help us overcome the falsehoods of self-view. The first is that all forms are impersonal. Anything we can know with our senses is conditioned, impersonal, unfolding due to natural law, and not us. We've defined self-view as the story we tell ourselves about who we are. This story usually translates into, I am the body, I am the one who thinks, I am the one who does things. However, we can more broadly define self-view as identifying with any form. When you identify with temporary changing forms, you set yourself up to suffer. The second liberating insight is that your essential nature is formless. And just as an eye cannot see itself directly, the formless cannot know itself directly either. A slogan to help you remember this is, what I see, I cannot be. If you can see it, it is not you. Another slogan Muji uses is, don't take shape, or be shapeless, meaning don't see yourself in any form. Now, you may think all of this is very conceptual and wonder, is he asking us to believe this? Please, please, please do not look at this information to be a new belief to adopt. Instead, use this information to challenge yourself to find out, who are you when there is no active story of self in the brain? We are not trying to get you to believe anything. Muji has a great analogy where he compares concepts to thorns. He says, if you get a thorn in your foot, you can use another thorn to help you dig it out. Once that's done, you throw both thorns away. And these concepts they're just here to provide you another way of viewing reality. Then you can use these concepts to mindfully investigate both views to see which one enhances your well-being and the well-being of others. Are you the body or are you formless? Use the tools we've taught you and find out for yourself. Now, the next obvious question is, how do we investigate the falsehoods of self-view? When we investigate self-view, this is called self-inquiry. The disidentify step in our Bilotti practice is actually self-inquiry. So good on you, you've already been learning it. Now, as with all investigations, when you do these investigations, we were basically just asking questions of our inner wisdom and using our direct experience to feel and intuit the answers. Answers may come as words, or they may come as a wordless direct knowing. If an answer doesn't come, we just be patient and sit with the question in peaceful silence. Whatever happens, always be kind to yourself. Also, because we're going to repeat this process many times to investigate different falsehoods, emotions, thoughts, sensations, and so on, try to make it so that each time you do it, you're doing it as if it was the very first time. Otherwise, the wily ego in us will simply answer the questions from memory rather than really trying to experience the answers directly. So, how does this work? Let's bring it back to my example of EHS. When I have EHS pain arise in my brain, I can investigate it by asking, where is the pain? What does it feel like and where is it? And I just spend like a second looking. I'm like, oh, it's in my head. Ooh, it feels like a pressure. And it's very unpleasant. I don't have to spend more than a second to check in on that, right? Like, I don't want to torture myself. And then I move on to the next question. Can I notice the formless awareness that surrounds it? And then I try to feel the space all around that pain. Is the pain temporary or permanent? Oh, it's temporary. Is the formless temporary or permanent? Oh, that's permanent. It's always there. Can the pain harm the formlessness? No. Is there self-view in this situation? Oh, for real, yes. I'm definitely thinking I am this headache that's happening. Can I add the self-view to be part of the pain I experience? Part of the changing nature? Can I see the self-view is the story in my head that I am this brain, I am this body? And when I do this, when I look at that and try to do that, I feel a lot of relief. The pain is still there, but there is a lot of space and relief around it. I am no longer positioning myself as the brain and the body, but I'm seeing myself as the eternal formlessness. And then I keep going. Am I the form or the formlessness? And here it's really obvious. I'm the formlessness. Can the formlessness be harmed by bodily pain? No, it can't. Now, if this example makes it seem too easy, let me assure you, it's not always easy. It's very hard. You have to be willing to look at sometimes very painful experiences. But there's two kinds of pain. There's pain that leads to more pain, and there's pain that leads to enlightenment. And we want to encourage this pain that leads to enlightenment or liberation. So this example is an example of me at my best, but it confirms, for me at least, that there is something very real and powerful here. And it gives me a willingness to keep practicing it. And as I've done self-inquiry, I've had to confront my body-mind's own mortality and really be okay with letting it go. Like I've had to confront my fear of failure as well and be okay with really failing. And this kind of stuff is not easy for us to look at and to sort of be okay with, but that's part of the process. And through it, I've come to appreciate these words of Peace Pilgrim. Quote, "Sometimes difficulties of the body come to show that the body is just a transient garment, and that the reality is the indestructible essence which activates the body." Unquote. So this week's handouts will give you a variety of questions you can use to investigate, but they generally are in 4 categories. 1, questions that help you see the temporary nature of forms. This is very helpful for short-lived forms like thoughts, emotions, moods, and sensations. An example question would be, is this form permanent or temporary? The second category is questions that help you see the conditioned and impersonal nature of form. This helps you stop identifying with it. An example question would be, is this form conditioned or unconditioned? The third category of questions help you determine where you are currently positioning your I. Are you the body? Are you the formlessness? Are you the awareness? Where are you in all this? These questions bring clarity to where you are. And at the same time, they gently encourage you to position yourself more and more in the formlessness. So one possible question is, am I the knower or the known? The fourth category of questions help you investigate formless awareness and contrast it with the forms. These help you get to know your true nature. An example would be, is awareness harmed or affected by this form? These questions are very similar to the kind I asked you tonight during our meditation. And that's it. That's what self-inquiry all boils down to. And this will be explained in your handouts, so you can use that. You've also got your intention setting from last week that explains it. So this week, your call to action is this. I want you to continue doing your Bilotti practice daily with an emphasis on doing the disidentify practice part of it. If it helps you, have your list of questions handy. If you think of new questions that work better for you, use them. You can practice on major mental storms that arise, but you can also practice on really minor annoyances like a small anxiety or a little impatience that arise. And sometimes it's helpful to practice on those smaller ones where there's less drama happening internally. Through this practice, you will find the questions that work best for you to help you disidentify from form and position yourself in your true self of formless awareness. Now, granted, this may all sound ridiculous, foolish, or possibly even dangerous. The ego in you will do your best to talk you out of this course of action. So when doubts arise, gently see them as doubts and then remind yourself, I'm just testing this out for a few months to see if it enhances my well-being and the well-being of others. I don't need to believe any of it or I'm just trying it out to see for myself how it works. And if that doesn't help the doubt to recede, then Bilotti it. Bilotti that doubt. Okay, so we've covered a lot tonight. The falsehood of self-view is your story of self, which is typically that you are your body, you are the thinker, you are the doer. It also happens whenever we identify with any form. The liberating insights are that all forms are impermanent and impersonal, and that our essential nature is formless awareness, which is eternal, unmoving, unchanging, infinite, and the source of all life and form. This can be a lot to take in, but we've given you the tools to investigate these different places where you can position yourself. So do the work and discover the truth for yourself. I wish you much success in your efforts, and now go find out, who are you without your story of self? Let's take a mindful pause. All right, if you have questions or comments about this, please fill out the content evaluation, evaluation form. I'm going to drop that into the chat. And you can, in the content evaluation field, just write MF10, or you can email them to me. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions. I really want to get to them. I really invite your questions, so bring them on. But now let's move to our closing meditation. Let's take a mindful pause. Our time together, learning how to come home to love, truth, and joyful service brings us many benefits. We freely share these benefits energetically with all beings and all life, that they too may benefit from our meditation practice. May all people, all beings, and all life be free from suffering, safe and protected, healthy and strong, peaceful and happy. Wonderful. Next week, I look forward to seeing how your Bilotti practice is going and how you are integrating this information into your life. Please, 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 again, email me your questions or put them in the evaluation form. I really want to get to them next week. And if you're thinking them, most likely a lot of other people are too. Thank you a ton for all the effort you're putting into your practices. Please keep doing them with kindness, patience, love, and persistence. Be well. I love you, and I wish you peace, love, wisdom, and joy. Thank you so much. And I'm going to stick around if any of you have questions and want to talk afterwards, but otherwise, my apologies for going late again. You have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you later.
Good night, everyone.
Amen. Right. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.